So today I'm just creating, or have created, a really nice, soft, easy glam look. There's nothing difficult about it. There's no like crazy products that I've used, anything like that. So most of the products that I have used are available to buy in most chemists. Some products I have never used before, and I literally tried them in this video, so keep watching to see which products they are and if I liked them. Other products are my go-to favourites that I never go without. If you have any questions on products, shades, or just in general, please let me know and I would be happy to answer them. I'm starting off by using the Cover FX blurring primer. So this primer is really good if you're anybody like myself who has maybe a little bit of like pigmentation or even just a couple of blemishes on the skin. I know I would have suffered with quite bad skin as a teenager, and I have been left with very slight marks, and I'm not like self-conscious or anything about them, but I do find that when I'm doing my makeup I need to give that little bit of extra coverage on my cheeks. So this bad boy is amazing for doing that. It literally does what it says in the tin. It completely just blurs the skin. So this is how it looks. It is literally like the colour of like a really light foundation, so it completely just blends more or less into the skin. So it feels so nice, and I'm literally just massaging it into the skin, the colour difference of my hands and my face. So I'm just going to rub that in nicely, and it just acts as a really nice base for your foundation, so the skin is left feeling really nice, really soft, and just prepared for makeup basically. I'm going to do my brows first. So as you can see, my brows, they are small, they are thin, they need to be filled in quite a lot. So I'm using MAC Spike. This is a really nice brown. It's actually quite a dark brown, but depending on how heavy you use it, you can make it nice and dark, or you can actually have it quite nice light and natural. So I don't like my brows to be too dark. Obviously my hair is blonde, but I do naturally have quite dark eyebrows, so I do need to go with the darkness and do my eyebrows quite dark, which is kind of why I'm keeping the dark route, because I felt like I looked a little bit ridiculous having my dark eyebrows with my blonde hair. So this just makes it a little bit, I always hate using the word natural because I'm not natural, but I don't know, it just looks a little bit better, I suppose you could say. What I don't like about these twisty eyebrow pencils is that you can never really get a sharp edge on it to do your nice precise brow without literally just like breaking off the top of it to get that sharpness. At least when you have one that tops, you can literally just top it to get the nice sharpness that you want. But anyway, it's an amazing colour, and it doesn't stop me from using it, so I do really like it. So I am starting off making sure I've got a nice bit of product up there, and I start off just slightly further back than the very inside of my brow. I like to keep the inside a lot more natural, and like slightly more sparse to almost give like an ombre effect into my actual brow. So I'm going to take it slightly underneath my brow. I don't like to go too much through the brow because my eyebrows are quite thin naturally. I like to make them a little bit more fuller looking, a little bit bigger. So I'm actually going to go underneath my brow. But I have gone a little bit further down. Again, I'm going to bring it down with my tail. So that is what I call my structure line, as all of my students I've ever taught will know. I have like little words or phrases for like everything I do. This is called, or what I call anyway, my structure line. So basically this is the line that my whole eyebrow is going to go off of. It's going to make your job so much easier when you're doing your brows if you do that one nice structured line and you literally work off of that. So from there, I'm literally just going to really lightly, in this kind of a movement, I'm going to buff through my eyebrows. So again, keeping it quite natural. I say natural as throwing a mark because makeup is not really natural, but anyway. So I'm just going to buff that through. And again, you want to do your arch on top. So you don't want it to be like too big compared to your natural brow or your natural arch. Should I say you want to keep it quite natural? So I'm just going to go slightly over it. And take it to about there. So from there I'm going to fill it in, then from the front coming out. And that that is my brow. So you can see already by looking at it, it is looking a lot better, a lot healthier than my other eyebrow. And again, I'm going to use the spoolie side of the eyebrow pencil. I'm just going to brush through that to make it short, to make sure that there's no harsh bits or anything like that, so that it's just all brushed through nicely. So for the front, I'm just going to brush through and just kind of flick the hairs up. I'm not going to worry too much if my brow isn't kind of as defined as I want or anything like that, because I'm going to be carving it with a concealer. It doesn't particularly matter if it's not perfect, because that's where your concealer is going to come in. That is our brows done. There's nothing too fancy, nothing too structured. Again, it's an easy, quick glam. I don't want them overly structured. If I did, I'd go in with a gel and a brush, but I won't be doing that today. I'm simply using one little product. So next, I'm going to go in with my concealer. The concealer I'm using is the P. Louise base in shade Rumour. It is amazing, such full coverage, but you do have to work very, very quickly with it. If you are starting out, I would maybe go for something that doesn't dry quite as fast, because you need to work fast with it. But it is absolutely amazing. If you are a makeup artist and haven't tried this, I cannot recommend it enough. It is absolutely brilliant. The concealer brush that I'm using is from a brand called Sonora, and this is the brush in the style Nylon 12. I don't know what you call it, style in the number, the name Nylon 12. But you can just see how thin it is, and that is one thing I'm always looking for in my concealer brush, is how thin is the brush. If something is thick, I just find it's not great for cutting. It's going to make your job harder, if anything. So you want something that is literally super, super thin, that will mold to the shape that you are looking for. And this is exactly what this brush does. I'm going to put my concealer on my palette, and I'm going to almost mold my brush with that concealer. So you can see it's also warming up the concealer, and it is molding the brush to be even thinner than it was before. So from there, I'm going to carve my eyebrows. And using my eye as a palette, I'm going to put the bulk of it down. And again, molding it to the shape that you want. So I'm going to go right up to the brow, and I'm literally going to just carve that. Again, you want to bring it in further than what you need it, out further, down further. You want to give yourself as much space as possible. So that is what we're looking at. From there, I'm going to cover the entire lid with the concealer. Again, in further, out further, down further than what you actually need it. So you literally want to just buff that right in. This concealer doesn't need a powder to set it. You just need to buff it into your skin. You can see how much higher my brow looks now. My eye does look a lot smaller because I don't have any shadows on it, but you can see how much higher the brow looks and how much more defined it looks compared to this poor guy. I absolutely love this brush. It is so good. You can see how closely to the hairs that I'm holding my brush. I have a lot more control. I'm holding it up here rather than down here. If I was blending or something, amazing, because I don't need the control. But for something like carving, you need to hold the brush a little bit closer to get that control. So I just meet the concealers in the middle, kind of form some sort of little unibrow for myself, and just buff out the edges. So next I am taking a buffing brush, and I just want to buff out the edges and just set it that little bit more. So this brush is definitely my favourite buffing brush. It is from the brand Jessup. I have posted about this brand before. I think they're absolutely amazing. They are so cheap and amazing quality. And this is number 142. So I'm just going to literally buff out the edges of that. And just all those little crease marks, I am just going to buff them right in. Again, buff out any edges. So I'm just really lightly buffing all around that. I'm going to be using the same bronzer as I am my eyeshadow. This is from Fuchsia. This is the bronzer that we are looking at. So it is absolutely fab. It has like the slightest bit of shimmer going through it, and but not like a highlighter or anything like that. It literally just creates such a nice glow onto the skin, I suppose you could say. So I got a couple of new brushes yesterday when I was at the Irish Beauty Show, and I'm going to try them out. I have not used these brushes before now. I'm literally showing you them in their packaging, so I will try it out right here while I am recording this. So this is the Crown C512. I'm going to use this to buff in the colour. I don't want it so much as an intense shadow. I want it more so like as a contour for the eye. I want to keep it nice and light, and just really pull forward the eye. So again, taking a small amount of this, and I'm gonna just literally dust it into my crease. It really gets into the crease, even though it's quite a big blending brush, but it does really get straight into the crease, which I really like, and it blends it out nicely. So there's not even a huge need to go in with a second blending brush to blend out the colour. But you can see how much it just opens up the eyes. And again, going in with the other eye, I'm just doing little circular motions, nothing fancy at all. Just pushing it into the eye socket. You'll be able to feel this when you're doing it. You're literally just pushing it right in. I really like that brush now. That is the Crown C512. Very impressed. I like that. Okay, let's build it up a little bit more. And just keep it nice and rounded. So I'm going to just buff out that colour just so that it's super natural, and I'm going in with the Blank Canvas E82 brush to do that. Ooh, I like this brush. So you can see how nice and fluffy it is. Oh, there is nothing nicer than a fresh, new, white-haired brushes. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to really lightly buff out the edges of that bronzer. So just to soften out the edges. It just completely softens it out. So now I'm going to take the Luna by Lisa Jordan liquid eyeshadow. This is the rose gold one. It is so nice. So it comes with a little applicator. So I am literally going to just put this all over my lid. Nothing crazy about this. Nothing hard. I'm literally just going to pop that all over my lid. But it just takes your makeup to glam. Makes such a difference. Oh my god. So again, same with the other eye. So I'm just going to take my finger and I'm just going to kind of buff out the outside edges of that, just so that it'll blend a little bit easier into the eyeshadow. So from there, this is what we are left with. Back in with the Crown C512, I think. Yeah, I was right. And buff that back into my crease. So this is just going to blend that into that eyeshadow, or into the liquid eyeshadow, a little bit easier. So it keeps a nice glam effect without it being too harsh. So next I am taking my favourite personal use eyeliner, the Essence liquid liner. It is unreal. It's so easy to apply, and I'm just going to pop that along my lash line. The reason I'm doing this is just to define the eyes a little bit more, but also when I'm sticking on my eyelashes, it will just blend a little bit easier into the eye rather than just kind of sitting on it. And the TL21 Tatti lashes, I'm popping them right on. I think they are just divine. I need duo glue, a tweezers and a scissors. Just be really careful when you are taking lashes out of the pack that you take them out really carefully. You want to bend back the lash pack and grab so that it all comes out together. So I'm just taking off the inside corner because that really pokes me in the eye when I leave it there. And I'm just going to place this onto my lash line. So you can see with the glue, it has transferred slightly up onto my glitter. It does not matter, it is going to dry completely clear anyway, so it is perfectly fine if it does that. So again, I've popped that onto the lash line. I'm just going to give it a bit of a wiggle. And again, just place it into the middle. the inside and outside. So that's how the lashes are looking. They're so nice and natural, nothing too much. For kind of soft or daytime glam, whatever you want to call it. So next I'm doing my foundation. When I'm doing my foundation, I grab my clips because I am blonde and I will give myself completely discolored roots if I do not clip back my hair. For my foundation, I'm using my Pro One blusher brush. The Pro One brushes are so reasonable. They're absolutely amazing, and the quality is so good. I think I have about 4 of these blusher brush. I use it for my foundation. It's just so good because it literally pushes the foundation in while you're applying it, rather than using a flat brush that will just kind of sit the makeup on top of the face. One of my favorite foundations at the moment, believe it or not, is the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Concealer. It is absolutely, or concealer, sorry, foundation. It is unreal. It's so good. I think it's about €6–7, maybe even less. But it's so good. The coverage is amazing and it lasts. It lasts so long. It will literally last from when you put it on until you take it off. It's so good. And I'm just going to dab that into my skin. So to get the coverage you want, you're going to pat it in like so. It smells so nice as well. I'm going to push it right into the skin. Ensure you do not forget your ears, and always buff it down the neck as well. Push it right into the skin. And again, I don't need huge coverage on my forehead. I don't really get blemishes or anything like that on my forehead, so don't worry too much about it. I'm more so focusing on making sure that it is completely covered and that is fully even. I'm just going to go around the eyebrows. So you can see how good the coverage is on this foundation. So my favorite concealer for underneath the eyes or just lightening up the skin is 100% the MAC Studio Fix concealer. It is just amazing. A really good dupe for it is the Revolution concealer. I know that's super good as well, but I just think the coverage of this concealer is just next to nothing. It is unreal. And the shade I use is NW20. So the reason I use NW is that I want it to be cool underneath my eyes. I don't want anything too warm. I find that if I'm going in with a really yellow concealer, it more so brings forward my dark circles or anything like that. So going in with the red undertone, it kind of color corrects. Like it has a slight colour corrector inside it, I suppose you could say. And I'm just going to bring that down the sides of my nose and right underneath my eyes, and I bring it out to meet my concealer on the outside. A little bit down the centre of my face as well. So if there's anything left on the brush, bring it outside as well. Back in with this guy, and I'm just going to buff this right in. Again, make sure you go right up, and on the outsides, just pat it to make sure you get a nice blend. But I'm just going to buff this right into my skin, and it's just going to set the foundation, and it's also going to make sure that the concealer is fully buffed into the skin and the foundation. So your foundation will last you so much longer during the day if you start to buff it in. It makes the biggest difference. It is unreal. Whoops. So I actually do have oily skin, but by buffing in my foundation, it actually sets it, and I don't need a powder. Especially if you do have dry skin, you will not need any powder. If you do that light buff in, it will just set your foundation for you, and you are out the gap, ready to go. So next I'm going to do a little bit of my under eye. So I'm going to take my bronzer. I'm just going to dust this underneath the eye. You can see the difference. My eye looks so much bigger there. So I'm going in now with my blank canvas. It's the blank canvas F14. This is my brand new one. This is my older one that I use on myself. I actually bought a second one so I could use it on clients because I absolutely love it. It is absolutely amazing. It just contours the face so easily. So this is my new one. And this is the one I'm just going to use on myself. Still using the Fuchsia bronzer, and I'm going to buff it into the temples, down the cheekbone. So you can see with one side done and one side not. This is nice and sculpted. This guy, it's quite drooping and it just needs to be lifted. Kind of from this part, like skip like eyes, face. I'm not really that precise in what I do. Next I am taking the Zoeva. It's just a cream eyeliner. It's like a kohl pencil. To be honest, you can kind of use any cream liner. I know the Penny's one is really good as well. I'm just going to pop that right onto my waterline. So I'm going in with a blank canvas E44 brush, and I'm just going to take a dark colour. To be honest, I'd use black, I'd use dark brown. I actually have the Huda Beauty Mauve Obsessions palette here, so I'm just going to take the darkest shade in that palette with the kind of deep purple, and I'm going to push it up into my lash line. Now that is done, I'm going to take my mascara. For myself, I use the Lancome Doll's Eye mascara. I like it. I do like it. But I personally just think that mascara is mascara. But I don't really see the need in spending like 30–40 euro on a mascara. I find that the Essence Doll's Eyes ones are amazing, if not even better. And they're like €3, €4, something like that. I honestly wouldn't go out of my way to spend crazy money on a mascara ever. I just really wanted to try this guy out, but I think I will be sticking with my Essence mascara. Just place that onto your eyelashes. I like to do my mascara after I've done my eyelashes. I just find that it will blend your natural lash into your false lash. Whereas if I have mascara on before, I sometimes find that it just kind of sits on top but it doesn't blend, anything like that. So I just rather do it afterwards. I'm so excited to use this Illamasqua highlighter. It is the OMG one. I actually got it yesterday at the Paddy McGurkin stand at the Irish Beauty Show. This is the highlighter, what it looks like. It is just so divine. And I'm going out my Anastasia Beverly Hills A23 brush. This is my first time using this highlighter, so this is literally my first impressions of it as well as yours. Ooh, that is fab. Gives such a nice glow to the face. Wow. The tip of the nose onto the cupid's bow, and again just onto the high points of my eyebrows as well. I think it is my new favorite highlighter. Beautiful. To blend in my highlighter and my bronzer, just pop a little bit of blusher on the apples of my cheeks. This is my favorite blusher at the moment. It is MAC Naturally Flawless. It's just a really nice peach blusher. The same brush that I use to apply my bronzer, and I'm just going to pop that just onto the apples of my cheeks. So last but not least, I am going in with my lips. I am using the So Kiss Me collection in Bear It. These are so good. They are so reasonable. You get a lip liner and a lipstick and they're just fab. I love them. They are amazing. So I'm just going to scroll in a little bit so you can see a bit easier. It is really neutral colour, but I actually like it for this look. It's nice and soft, like what we're doing. It's soft glam, and it's really comfortable. It's really creamy, and it came out so easily. I hope you enjoy this look, this nice super easy look, and if there is any other suggestions of looks that you would eventually like me to do, please let me know.